oh my God, how do I get additional tax deductions? Well, this is called the Augusta Rule. I was taught this by one of my CPAs, and they said, why don't you just rent your house to your company for boardroom meetings or masterminds or all sorts of things? Well, let me show you how this works. So the Augusta Rule, what is this tax strategy? The Masters created a unique problem, and if you don't know what the Masters are, that's the golf tournament, a unique problem for the residents because they were renting out their houses during a time when there was no rentals. And the IRS wanted to tax all of these residents that lived around the golf course for the rental income they were getting during this event. But because golf is somewhat affluent and has some lobbyists, they fought for this and they created the Augusta Rule. So here's the deal. This allows you to rent your primary residence for less than 15 days. 14 days to be specific. Those 14 days of income are not included in your gross income. Now that sounds like a plan to me. There are some rules though, but they're fairly simple, so let me go through them. As I just said, 14 days or less are the amount of time that you can rent your house for. It must be deemed as your personal residence. Vacation rentals also would count, but you have to live there for a certain amount of time. Check with your CPA on that. The business that you rent your house to has to be a legitimate entity. It can't be a sole proprietor. It actually has to be something like an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp in order to make this work. If the rents are over $600, your business must issue a 1099 miscellaneous, but then your CPA can zero that out on the Schedule E. Let's look at an example. I'm going to show you what I did for one of the masterminds that I held. I knew that I could rent my house to my entity for business meetings, board meetings, masterminds, pretty much anything that would be deemed as a business use. Let's say you want to host a mastermind like I did. First thing I did is I went out and I researched different motel and hotel conference areas, and I found that the cost in my area were about $125 an hour. You could just do it by the daily, but we boiled it down to the hourly rate. This example created the basis in which I knew I could rent my house to my company for. Because hey, if the hotel's gonna charge me $125 an hour, why not charge the same amount to my company? So if we do the math, $125 an hour times 5 hours a day plus food, because you gotta feed people, at $100 an hour equals $725 per day. $725 per day times 14 days, which is the allowable amount of days you can rent this to, is $10,150 a year. So let's just say you plan to put on a mastermind and you want to rent your house for the mastermind. And you're going to do this 4 times a year. Each quarter you're going to do a mastermind. Here's how this pencils. So there's 3 days from January to March that you could do the first mastermind. Then there's 3 days from April to June that you could do the second one. 3 days from July to September you could do the third. And then another 3 days in October to December that you could do the fourth and final mastermind. But then you've got 2 extra days left over. So why not do a board meeting or just do a Christmas party to finish up those 2 days? So let's do the math on each one of these scenarios. So if each day is $725 a day, times 3 days for the mastermind, that's $2,175 that you can rent your house to your company. Do that 4 times per year, and that's $8,700 that you get tax deduct to your company, and you get the income. It's the best of both worlds. You get a tax deduction on the business side, and you get tax-free income on the personal side. Sounds like a win-win to me. But then you do 1 board meeting or 1 Christmas party for the final couple days. That's $1,450, giving you what we talked about before, $10,150 deduction to your entity, plus $10,150 in income to your bank, which is tax-free. Now make sure you consult with your CPA. I'm not a CPA, so you gotta check with your tax specialist or your CPA to make sure that this will work for you and that it's structured properly. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe this page. And while you're at it, check out this video that teaches you more about how to make the tax code work in your favor. Don't forget to click and actually smash the alerts button so that we can notify you on all the new videos we put up, and you can just keep on learning how to make and keep more money.